I do measurement of liquidity within Bitcoin, and that's dropping. It's dropping right now. It's been dropping for months.
Bitcoin's liquidity is dropping, and that's a problem.
And that divergence is growing bigger and bigger. And at a certain point, the clock stops ticking.
In fact, despite fundamentally, Bitcoin and crypto, the market is getting stronger. It's getting better. Subscribers of Altcoin Daily understand this. We've already had the leverage flush out. We have a new Fed chair incoming. The SEC and the CFTC are backing this asset class like crazy, and the market structure bill is coming. So fundamentally, we're in a very good place, but then why are we dropping? Why is liquidity being sucked out of this asset class? Expert trader Willy, who I really respect, said this about Bitcoin's liquidity being sucked up, what he's seeing.
It's dropping right now. It's been dropping for months.
What is that a function of then? Why is it dropping? Like, is something else pulling liquidity out? Or is it just the demand has just been running strong for a while and it's just tapering?
I just do really dumb shit, which is measure the flow of capital coming in. I don't look at why. I don't speculate why. I can, but I'd probably be wrong. It's not coming in at the same rate. So it tells me that we're in this phase where liquidity is starting to reduce relative to the growth of the price. And that divergence is growing bigger and bigger. And at a certain point, the clock stops ticking, unless there's a massive injection of liquidity some point, right?
In the broader economy.
No, in the Bitcoin
into
network, right? Okay. But I've never seen that. You know, we measure it, it peaks and then it starts tailing. You might get a little bit of this choppiness, and those choppiness adds to another bullish run, but the clock's ticking. And so, yeah, we're late phase in the bull market.
I was just about to ask. We'll finish this topic. You'll definitely say this is late stage of the bull market.
And let me show you this. That is what Willy Woo just said is backed up in the data. We see the ETF inflows in USD over the last 90 days. Gold's ETF inflows, so this is not price, this is inflows. Gold's inflows are going up. Obviously, the price is going up to match. And people are de-risking out of Bitcoin, and the ETF flows, they're not negative, but they're not going up at the rate that they once were. So I think it is worth talking about worst case scenario. If the worst should happen, what does that mean for Bitcoin? On Altcoin Daily, we always try to give you the bull case and the bear case, so you have all the information and can make the best decision for you as an investor. And this is troubling. Almost 9% of the S&P 500 stocks were at 52-week lows yesterday, while the S&P index was within 1% of an all-time high. What this means is almost 10% of the S&P 500 is doing horribly. They're at year lows, but the S&P is 1% off of all-time high. That means a few assets, and we know this, NVIDIA, others, AI, a few assets are holding up the S&P 500. This has only happened 3 times before. Twice in December of 1999, before the March 2000 tops, so 3 months before the big top of the internet, and then July of 2015, before the August 2015 crash. And one chart does not validate the trend, but when we start to see more and more charts sort of add up to this, that's going to affect things. And again, that's showing the weakness in the traditional market. We understand fundamentals. I just said this. Fundamentals in crypto, bullish. Fundamentals are getting better. The traditional market, macro uncertainty, is pulling us down. And I thought this was really interesting. While this first clip I shared with you, that's about a month old, Willy Woo has updated his opinion, and if the worst should happen, expert trader Willy Woo says Bitcoin could drop to $16,000, $16K, in the worst case scenario crash. Let me share with you this clip, and then I'm going to give you my take.
Well, I just see Bitcoin as going into a normal standard bear market. Like, everyone thinks it's strong, and it is. And the investors are strong, like institutional, MicroStrategy, these types of companies are holding it. So there's strength there. But if we get a pop in the global asset bubble, then that impact will pull it down, and that maybe we get a 80% drawdown like last time, and it's like just another 4-year cycle from the view of being inside Bitcoin. But from the view outside, it's a totally different thing. Look, it just did its normal thing against a stress test. So
80% from these levels would be catastrophic on the charts, though, right? It would look like the entire 16-year chart is breaking down. It would, because we're talking about going back down to 80% from here would be about $35,000.
If it holds above 16,000, the bottom of the next bear market is structurally intact because it's higher than the last bear market. And we shouldn't look at tops either. Tops are very unstable. The bottoms are very much closer to the fundamental investors. Generally, it doesn't drop below 20% of the capital stored in the network. It's very close. The tops are sometimes 3 to 5 times more than the capital in the network. So that the bottoms and how that performs, if it drops below 16,000, then that'd be a little bit freaky, you know. But that can happen. It can rebound.
So my take comes down to this. I am not sold. I'm still bullish. And you can go back to our video from yesterday or a video from the last week, and I explained the bull case, the fundamentals. You want to invest when there's a divergence of price is going down, but fundamentals are getting better. That shows you price will eventually follow fundamentals. It's just being dragged down by noise in the short term. So I'm not sold. I'm still bullish. I still think we have another leg up. Call me crazy. I could be 100% wrong. But again, we've discussed those fundamentals. If the bear case should happen, there's 2 scenarios here. It's either going to be a regular bear market or my worst case scenario. In a regular bear market, it's not the price drop that kills you. It's the length of time of that price drop that kills you. Meaning, if the market would just crash by 50% next week, obvious buy the dip opportunity to me, it's when it crashes 15%, then goes up a little. A month later, crashes 20%, and you just get those stair-step drops in the market, and that just burns you. In a regular bear market, could Bitcoin and Ethereum trend down, Bitcoin trend down to 70K, like we were right after Trump got elected? Yes, absolutely. That is my bear case scenario. If we are truly entering a bear market, Bitcoin grinds down to 70K. And then maybe we start the uptrend mid next year. Maybe it gets good into the midterms because Trump's going to want market's good for the midterms, is my guess. In a worst, and actually I do want to show you this. If my bear market thesis does come into fruition, I'll put some links down below if you want to follow along. Exchange partner WEEX, exchange partner Bitunix. If we break under this 50-week moving average, that is a break of the trend. If we just bounce off, we've seen that many times before. If we break down, then I think bringing down to that 70K, 70K here, 70K here, huge line of support in 70K. I also think if it takes, 1 month to 6 months to grind down there, that will allow this 200-week moving average to grind up closer, meet around 70K. And we have rarely, during COVID, during the FTX collapse, we rarely, if ever, drop below the 200-week moving average, and we're never under for long. But I think 70K is my bear case scenario. What's my worst case scenario? If markets completely go to crap, and we have something akin to the Great Depression, and I cannot see a Great Depression scenario under, maybe this is naive, but under Trump. I think Trump will immediately want to print their way out of this. I think any president would just print their way out of this. So I don't think a dip would last too long, but if we have a Great Depression, then I would agree with Willy Woo. I think our last bear market lows, which is $16,000, wow, that would be scary. And even if it takes a couple of years, that would be scary. It's the ultimate low. I don't think we'll get there, but it's worth talking about. I want to hear from you. Comment down below. Let's see what the community thinks. I'm going to read and respond to as many comments as I can. Like all, we see tomorrow.